Hoş geldiniz değerli konuklar. Ben İngilizce konuşacağım. Ayşen de ben Türkçe konuşacağım. Ayşen de İngilizce konuşacak. Evet, hepinize hoş geldiniz diyorum. Bu çok önemli, çok anlamlı etkinlikte sizleri görmek hepimizi mutlu etmiştir. Öncelikle Kıbrıs'ta başlatılan Nefese Dönüş etkinliklerine katkı koyan tüm arkadaşları kutlarım. Özellikle Medi Foundation kurumunun dinamik başkanı İsmet Medi, Başbakanlık Uyuşturucu ile Mücadele Komisyonu Müdürü Sayın Hasan Karaokçu ve onların etrafındaki tüm gönüllü ordusunu yürekten kutlar, onlara teşekkür ederiz. Bizler burada bugün Londra ayağının etkinliğini yapmak için buradayız. Etkinlikte ön ayak olan Kıbrıs Türk Toplum Merkezi ve bizim kurumumuz olan Kıbrıslı Sanatçılar Platformu olarak etkinliğe katkı koyduk ve bu etkinliğin organizesinde yardımcı olduk. Özellikle etkinlikteki sergi görüyorsunuz, muazzam bir sergi var. Sergiye katkı koyan tüm sanatçıları da tek tek onlara teşekkür eder, kendilerini kutlarız. Umarım hepiniz de sergiyi görme fırsatınız olmuştur. Etkinlik bittikten sonra tekrar bu fırsat verilecektir size. Lütfen bütün lütfen bütün sergiye katkı koyan sanatçıların eserlerini görünüz. Çünkü hakikaten çok değerli eserleri vardır. Evet. Evet arkadaşlar, şimdi ne olacak? Önce Ayşen'e bu yaptığım konuşmanın metnini İngilizce olarak söylemesini rica edeceğim. Ondan sonra da konuşmacıları tek tek buraya çağırıp katkılarını isteyeceğim. Buyur Ayşe.
Thank you very much, Ertanç Bey. It's wonderful to have all of you here today, and as part of Eurogenç TV, we're very proud to be doing this collaboration. As Ertanç Bey said, I'm just sort of translating what he put across to you in English, and this idea originated with Medi İsmet in the Medi Foundation in Northern Cyprus. And the festival today is called the Rhythm of Breath, and it's a celebration of people's work. It's a celebration of mental health, of addiction, and as you can see here today, we've turned the TCCA into an art gallery, and a lot of people from our community have brought together some wonderful art pieces, and hopefully you've been able to look at them and see how wonderful they are. I'd like to thank the TCCA for housing this today, and for Eurogenç TV for actually broadcasting it. What's wonderful is that we're going to be linking to Northern Cyprus, and simultaneously they are actually starting their festival today, and we are doing it here, which is absolutely amazing. We've got Edible London here as well. So Ned, thank you very much for being part of it. I'm not going to be very much longer because I think we've got a few people from the TCCA who are going to say a few words, but I'd like to thank everybody for their contributions. It's a wonderful thing that we're doing today, and hopefully I'll be able to interview some of you as well a little bit later. Thank you very much.
Teşekkürler Ayşen. Öncelikle TCCA'den Erim'i buraya çağırmak istiyorum. Buyur Erim.
Hello everyone, I'll keep it in English. Niaz is going to do the Turkish version of it. So welcome to TCCA. The whole concept of this exhibition is that it's going to be running for 1 month period, and it's meant to empower our individuals from our community to be able to portray what they visualise as being mental health, because the one important thing that we have within our community is that mental health and addiction is taboo, and we don't want to make it taboo. It needs to be discussed, and we need to, as a community, come together to service those people who are going through periods of their lives with or alone in isolation. So we need to be working together to this. There's a number of organisations here who do already amazing work: Edible London, Cas from Weeks of Heroes, Aisha Adil, and nightmare, so that there's many people over here already doing the work, and the whole idea, the concept is we have a conversation and figure out ways that we can tackle this, figure out ways that we can work around helping the most vulnerable in our community. Each one of these images that's on this wall, or each one of these artistic pieces, has a story behind it, and it's important to recollect those stories have their own individual suffering, and some of those suffering leads to people taking their lives, and people being able to be, you know, all on their own and in complete isolation. And it's not for me to say their stories, it's for individuals to be empowered to be able to say their own stories. It's not for me to say that a person suffers from mental health, and it's up to us to take away the stigma that exists with mental health. So we have this artistic pieces here for a 1 month period. People can come in and see them when TCCA is open. And yeah, let's have a discussion, let's talk about how we can work on this, and let's look at how we can introduce new projects that will help those most vulnerable in our community. And I'll pass you over to Niazi, who'll say a few words, and then we'll get a couple of people from the community to come up and talk about their art pieces.
Teşekkür ederim arkadaşlar. Aslında mental health özellikle 21. yüzyılda bütün insanlığı tehdit eden bir unsur olmaktadır. Bunun da sebebi içinde yaşadığımız sistem bireysel özgürlüğü sanki yıldızlara çıkarır gibi görünse de toplumsal kardeşliği, toplumsal özgürlüğü yok ediyor. Ve düşünebilirsiniz 20 milyonluk sitelerde insanlar tek başına yaşar. Ölürler ve kanser evinde 3 gün sonra bulunurlar. Düşününüz bu kalabalık içerisinde insanlar. Ve Amerika'da bir üniversite, tarihini bilmem ne zaman, bir araştırma yapar. Küçük bir kasabada İtalyan göçmenler gelir ve o kasabada İtalyan göçmenler yaşar. Bir bakarlar ki oradaki, o kasabadaki insanlardaki kalp rahatsızlığı, mental health falan Amerikan standartlarının çok altında. Ve zannederler ki işte Mediterranean diet, yedikleri zeytinyağı falan, domates falan onlardandır. Halbuki daha sonra, 30 senelik bir araştırma bu, daha sonra görürler ki o kasabadan çıkan insanlar ve dağılır Miami'ye, büyük New York'a, Washington'a dağılır. Aynı şekilde rahatsızlıklar onlarda da Amerikan standartlarına gelir. Yani demek oluyor ki toplumsal yanımız, bireysel yanımız kadar, bireysel özgürlüğümüz kadar toplumsal yanımız da çok önemlidir. Ve Kıbrıs Türk Toplum Merkezi olarak daima şiarlarımızdan bir tanesi biz bir toplumuk. Biz kardeşliği sağlayan. Mesela bu Covid'de gördüğünüz gene insanlar kapattık evlerine. Her hafta bir kutu yiyecek götürdük ihtiyaçlı olanlara. Ama burada yiyecek değil de önemli olan. Önemli olan her hafta birisi kapısına unutulmadın. Biz seni gözüklerik, biz sana bakıyoruz falan. Ve bu insanlardaki ruhsal sağlığı getirir. Yani ruhsal bozukluklar daha fazla yalnızlık, korku, gelecek korkusu bunlar insanları çok etkiler. Dolayısıyla eğer biz toplum merkezi olarak bir nebzecik bunu giderebiliyorsak, bu konuda bir nebzecik toplumsal bir şey yaratabiliyorsak, bu bizim için gerçekten büyük bir başarıdır. Ve bu konuda duyarlı olan başlamıştır. Yani bu tartışmalar inanırım ki ileride biz bunları daha seminerler şeklinde daha da tartışacağız, daha da geliştireceğiz. Ama isterseniz uluslararası üne sahip olan Türkiye'li bir ozanın, bir şairin bir cümlesine söyleyeyim size. Yaşamak bir ağaç gibi tek ve hür ve bir orman gibi kardeşçesine. Doğrudur. Tek ve hür olmak isterik ama orman gibi de kardeş olmamız lazım. Şu anda kapitalist sistem, gelişmiş kapitalist sistem bu kardeşliği yok ediyor. Maddi ve manevi getirdikleri sıkıntılardan dolayı gerçekten insanlığa büyük stres vermektedir. Ve biz Kıbrıslı Türkler küçük bir toplumu, güzel bir toplumu ama biz derik ki biz işte insanlarımızı bu isolation'dan, bu korkudan yalnız olmadıklarını hissetmek için toplum merkezi olarak azami gayret göstermekteyiz. Diğer kardeş örgütlerimizle beraber çalışmaktayız. Ve sağ olsun mesela özellikle son 2 yılda birçok kurum ve kuruluş bize katıldı. Ve inanırım ki bir nebze de olsa kendi insanımıza, Kıbrıslı Türklerimize yardımcı olacağız her konuda olduğu gibi. Bu konularda da tabii dediğim gibi yani yalnızlığın getirdiği stresler, drug addiction veyahut da alkol, hep bunlar dediğim gibi yalnızlıktan ve korkudan. Ve bir yerde özellikle alkol gibi, drug gibi şeyler escapism, kaçıştır. Gerçekten, realiteden kaçmaktır. Korktuğu için kaçar, belki onunla uyuşur falan. Bunları engellememiz lazım mümkün olduğu kadar. Daha fazla vaktinizi almam, ileriki seminerlerde inanırım bunları daha fazla konuşacağız. Ama toplum merkezi olarak söz veririm size, üzerimize düşen görevi yerine getirmeye çalışacağız. Teşekkür ederim.
Can I just also say family-based solutions and Wigs for Heroes as well. Big thank you to them too for being part of this project today as well.
Definitely. Thanks for that, Ayşen. There are some of the artists whose works are being exhibited are here. Anyone wants to come and say a few words about their cause?
Hi everyone, I've written something down because my memory is really bad. So firstly, I would like to thank the organisers for allowing us to, as Turkish Cypriots, the space to talk about mental health, trauma and addiction with absolutely zero judgment. The other day on a Facebook forum, I actually asked a question to the community and asked them to give me one word that they thought that people would use or say if they knew that you were getting help for mental health concerns. And it was really sad reading some of the comments from people and the responses. Things like yazık, deli, hasta, gutless, sissy, weak, crazy, and lazy. And the truth is, we are all a little bit weird, but we all are quite wonderful as well. And it's really important to celebrate us as individuals, regardless of what we've gone through in our lives, the traumas we've experienced, the pain, especially over the past year. I know so many families, including myself and my own, have been affected. But why is it that people in our own communities are not more understanding? That's the question that I keep asking myself. And it really boils down to one thing: education. So as much as that this is an art exhibition today, it's also an on-the-wall education for people. So I really want to encourage you guys to make sure that you are telling people about this, because this is quite a rarity in our community, to actually display our traumas on a wall for everyone to look at. It's quite a big thing, it's quite a big moment. My piece over in the corner, that little horror show over there, it's called Unkind Reflections, and it's about a very real lived nightmare or experience that I suffered a few years back myself. I call it a nightmare because having a cancer diagnosis, for some, is one of the worst things to happen to you, especially as a 31-year-old. However, cancer, in particular, breast cancer, is very common. And it's estimated that a staggering 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer. And breast cancer is actually one of the more common cancers in women in our island of Cyprus. And it's also estimated that 10% of women will refuse chemo out of the fear of losing their hair. I was one of them. So as most will know, I started a charity called Wigs for Heroes shortly after I was diagnosed, and I talked about my own experience very publicly, and I found that that helped me get through my own experience, and so that people wouldn't gossip about me as well. If I put it out there, what can anyone else say? And it's really sad that I had to do that so that people wouldn't talk about me. Anyway, talking about it publicly helped me. There were elements of my journey that I am still processing today, and considering that I have a lived experience with cancer twice, because it did come back and I did get through that as well. But I talk about it because I have nothing to be embarrassed or shamed about. I call it a lived experience because that was my reality, and I didn't suffer from cancer because cancer was pretty painless. It was getting rid of it that was the more tricky part, and suffering is what actually followed. So over there you'll see a display of hair loss, which I experienced after 12 days of receiving chemotherapy. The 1,000+ continuous pills that I'm still taking today. The endless injections and needles as displayed in my piece. They were the very needles I injected myself with to stimulate my bone marrow after having chemotherapy so that my white cells would stay boosted. I don't know why I kept it, it's a bit weird, but I'm glad I did. Cancer is a lot more than just losing your hair. It's the battle that you face with yourself and your ever-changing reflection, hence the term unkind reflections. The moon face that developed after taking steroids, the brow loss, the weight gain, and as well as dealing with everyone else's sorrowful looks. It was always. So cancer was very much a period of staring death in the face. Your hair will grow back. It's only hair. Being bald suits you. I didn't want it to suit me. I wanted my hair back. I didn't want to lose my hair. But anyway, today I'm here to tell the tale, but the post-trauma still haunts me. The fear of having more chemo in future haunts me, frightens me, and I still, to this day, won't open the door when the postman knocks. So I hope you enjoy this evening and the exhibition, and thank you for everyone for being so open and honest with your lives. Thank you.
I think, Soner, would you like to come and say a few words?
Hello everyone, my name is Soner Mustafa Murat Karagözlü, otherwise known as Sonny. As everyone knows, and those who don't, I started an organisation about 4 years ago because, to be honest with you, I was fed up of humanity. I was fed up of bureaucracy. I was fed up of the lies, of the deceit, of the commercial world that we live in, full of capitalists, just consume, consume, consume, use, use, use. And as a Turkish Cypriot, I've actually never ever been connected to my Turkish Cypriot community. You know, it's really weird how there is a massive Turkish Cypriot community here over in the UK, but it's fractioned off, you know, and again, because of bureaucracy, something I think we've sort of embraced from this Western world. But one thing I've definitely learned is that through all of the adversaries in my life, when I applied a different way of looking at all of these things that we would so-call bad and so-called disasters and traumas, I found a different way to look at my past and all of these traumas and actually turn them around and see that in every great adversary laid another seed of benefit. And that's what I started doing. And because I was a farmer, you know, giving me a seed is it's just second to nothing. Of course, I'm going to sow it. So after planting so many seeds and working with my community, I stand in front of you now, a CEO of an organization that is distributing over 30,000 meals worth of ingredients, of meals a week, full of about 12 employees that are earning a living from a company which is set to change the way we do things. And one of the beautiful things is I've actually got to know my Turkish Cypriot community. I've actually got to know what is going on outside of just my family. And some things that have been mentioned today, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. Erima been mentioned the taboo around, you know, mental health and addiction and sexual abuse as well, which is, I don't think it was mentioned, but I think sexual abuse is something that is massive, which is also another taboo. And what's phenomenal is all of these organizations are now stepping up and being heard. And this is where we make the change. I say it all the time. You know, when you're pointing a finger, there's 3 fingers pointing right back at yourself. So it's time we stop asking the government and the powers that be's to make the change, because these lot are the 1%. We're the 99%. We're the people that found our organizations out of desperation and out of willingness for change. Continue being that change. Continue advocating the truth of every situation instead of trying to sweep it under the carpet, which we as Turkish Cypriots have done for too long. We come from a war-stricken country. We come from a country where we don't ourselves know what our history is. You know, so we've got to accept these things. And as men, because I'm a Turkish Cypriot, so I'm allowed to talk about Turkish Cypriots. And we as Turkish Cypriot men need to stand up a little bit more. I'm proud to meet some of the eldest in our Turkish Cypriot community as men, as my elder men in my community. I'm proud to know that you lot exist. I never thought you did. And like I said, I started this journey because I gave up on humanity. I'm definitely back with humanity, that's for sure. Big love to all of you.
Right. First Kaz and then Soner, two extremely inspiring people from our communities. So I'm humbled to listen to you and learn from you as an older person. Right. Ayşe wants to say a few words lastly, and then we'll listen to the poets.
I wasn't expecting to say a few words, so I'm just going to talk from the heart. And I tell you what, listening to Soner and Kaz and everybody here, it made me quite upset. How dare you call people deli? How bloody dare you? We all have mental health. I've been working with people who have extreme mental health for over 20 years, and we all have mental health. And the average person will think of suicide at least 5 to 6 times a year, and that's a healthy average person. When they're not coping, they will think of escapism. And sometimes, you think about it, it pops into your head. The problem with our community, and it's a wonderful community, is that we listen to judge, not listen to understand. So I welcome everyone, when next time someone is talking to them, look at them, really listen with intent, ask them questions about what they're saying, learn. I've never been through domestic abuse. I'm one of the lucky ones, yet I work with a lot of perpetrators and with domestic abuse victims or survivors. I learn from them, and I tell them, I don't joke about it, I've never been through domestic abuse, I'm the expert in asking silly questions. You're the expert in your life. So don't be the expert of judging, be the expert in listening to understand. There we go.
Okay. Arkadaşlar şimdi Kıbrıslı Sanatçılar Platformu'ndan 2 şair ve ben şiirlerimizi okuyacağız. Tema ile ilgili şiirler bunlar. Öncelikle Yaşar İsmailoğlu'nu buraya davet etmek istiyorum. Yaşar İsmailoğlu toplumumuz içerisinde en fazla emek veren kişilerdendir. Yıllardır toplum için mücadele veriyor. Birçok örgütlerin kuruluşuna yardımcı oldu. Aynı zamanda da kaç kitaptı Yaşar? 44 kitap yazdı. Sadece 44 kitap yazdı. Yani bu kitaplar toplumumuza ışık tutar nitelikte kitaplardır. Çok önemli kitaplar. Buyur Yaşar.
Sevgili dostlarım, merhaba. Böyle bir günde bir araya gelmek bence çok önemli. Çünkü gerek bağımlılık, gerek ruhsal sağlık konusunda uzun yıllardır gerek Kıbrıs Türk Toplum Merkezi'nde, gerek Sağlık Evi, Alevi Kültür Merkezi'nde projeler üretiyorum ve orada çeşitli toplumlara yardım etmeye çalışıyorum, yön göstermeye çalışıyoruz. Destek vermeye çalışıyorum. Ama bunun da dışında ben bir insanım ve Kıbrıslı bir insan ve çok duygusal bir insanım. Yani eğer bu akşam ağlamazsam mucize olacak. Özellikle demin arkadaşları dinlerken çok duygulandım. Özellikle Ayşe'nin söyledikleri gerçekten bazen inanılır gibi değil bizim toplumdaki ruh sağlığı konusunda. Herkes öğretmen kesiliyor, herkes bir şeyler söylüyor. Ben de duygularımı şiire döküyorum. Demin 44 tane kitap dendi. Bu 44 kitabın 14 kitap şiirdir. Bu şiirlerimin bazılarında da ruhsal sağlığı veya bağımlılığı işleyen ve yurt sevgisini işleyen şiirlerim var. Özellikle bugün için geçtiğimiz haftalarda yazdığım en son şiirlerimden bir tanesini sunmak istiyorum size. Biraz yavaş gideceğim. Şiir biraz uzun. Çünkü gözlüklerimi unuttum getireyim. Şiirimin başlığı bağımlılık. Ama bağımlılığı derken arkadaşlar sadece uyuşturucu değil, son zamanlarda da internet üzerinden bağımlılık var. Eskiden biz eve geldiğim zaman hanımla oturur sohbet ederdik. Şimdi içeri geliyorum, yemek hazır der, git kurtar. O tablet der, tak tak tak tak tak, yok onu yok bunu. Dedim ne zaman sohbet edeceğiz? Diyor haberlerden sonra. Okey, bağımlılık. Bir hafta içinde 2 gün ayırmışım kendime. Ne endişelerimi ne de korkularımı gündemlerim o 2 günde. Sadece 2 güncük yeter bana. Ne var ne bir maraz ne de bir vesvese. Anlamsız akan gözyaşına, hançer gibi yüreğime vurgun yapan hırsız ele, ağlamaya, sızlanmaya hiç tanımıyorum bu 2 günde. Sadece özgür yaşamdır kavgam o 2 günde. Günlerden birisi dündü. Hatalar, düşüncesizler, bağımlılığın yalan hazları, acılar ve kapanması zor yaralarla doldurulmuş her yanı özürlü yaşamlar. Damara her sokulan ucu ince sıcak iğne, ürperen sevdalar, titreşimde acımasız marazlar. Gözlerimi kapatıyor ve düne bakıyorum. Bağımlılığın sarmalına dolanmışlar. Anlamaya çalışıyorum. Bin bir düğüm olmuş sevdaları. Daha iyi anlayabilmek adına daralan kan damarlarıma. Bir acımasız kavganın soluğunda onunla ben tek başımıza kavgayı kaybediyoruz. Ellerimi, kollarımı uzatıyorum, kısata kalıyorlar. Töreleri yabancı, duyguları yabancı, sadece bir yalan adına. Ama yapacak bir şey yok artık maalesef. Çünkü ulaşamayacağım kadar uzağa kaçtı dün. Dünde kaldı ters ekilmiş tohumlar, toprak zaten kirliydi. Ne tohuma faydası var, ne de kendine boşu boşuna. Damara sokulan her yalan, hazda gezinir göçmen kuşlar. Bir şey yapamamanın olumsuzluğunda ağlatıyor, sızlatıyor. Boşuna söylendi her kulağa okunan. Çürüyüp anlamlaşmış tüm emekler olumsuzda, her beklenen sabahlar, geriye dönülmez yazgısında dünde yaşananlar. Sonsuza kadar avuçlarımızın içinde uçup gitmiş çocuklar. Ne yapmalı? Bu yolculukta dağcıklarımıza ne koymalı? Birlikte yürümeli, yavaş yavaş, ürkütmeden marazlı yürekleri. Dünü yitirdik, bir tek günüm kaldı karanlıkları yanıma almak. Gündüze, yani yalan olmayan dünyanın yarınına. Yarındır aslında kendime ayırdığım kavgamın 2. önemli günü. Birlikte yol alacağım dünde bırakabildiklerim. Kırmadan, incitmeden, yumuşakça, yarının sunduğu tüm ışıklarıyla aydınlık bir yolda, çıkmak olumsuzlukların yaşandığı çıkmaz sokağından, yüreğimi dolduruyorum en neşeli makamların notalarıyla, zorlukları ve hak ettiklerimize ulaşabilmek, kolay olmayacağını bilerek kavgaya bulaşmak. Adım gibi biliyorum, yarın da güneş bir kez daha doğacak. Ya bütün heybetiyle ya da bulutların arkasına saklanarak. Ama biliyorum, yarın güneş yeniden doğacak. Bize yeni aydınlıklar sunacak. Ve biz sözleştik, avuçlarımızda sadece kırmızı lalere olacak. Beklemeliyiz sabırla, yere düşmeli yalan hazlar. Bağlamamalı umudu güneş doğmadan yarınlara. Yaşanmamalı yine kaldırımlara düşen sevdalar. Güneşin doğuşudur umut, gösterir yarının aydınlığını. Ben tek bir gün kavga veririm, uzakta değil aydınlık. Sen hiç boynunu kırma, öyle bir yol birlikte, bu yolu birlikte yürüyeceğiz. Senin çok farklı bir ışığın var, yaşamı karartan karanlıkları. Sen kendin aydınlat ama yine de ben hep yanında olacağım. Merak etme sen, dünün yükünü asmam yarınların boynuna. Ha gayret biliyorum, sen de uyanabilirsin zaten, ne kaldı sabaha? Sen de sahiplenebilirsin güneşi, sen de özgürsün artık, yalancı hazları savur gitsin ya bayla. Saman gibi, duman gibi, ver gitsin rüzgara. Bir günlük kavgayla herkes baş edebilir, deneyimlerim engine. Ve ben bunu sende gördüm, hadi biraz gayret. Başa kalk, önde yürü, kurtar özgür yaşamı. Ellerini kaldır havaya. Bağımlılık kalın ve kördüğün bir kementin asılı boynunda. Zordur, üzüntüsüdür, meşakkatlidir. Yarının yükünü de katarsan bugüne, yürülmez bu yol tek başına. Bugünün deneyimleri değil ki huzuru kaçıran, acımasızca insan karanlıklara kapatan, dünün acı anıları, kötü yaşanmışlıklarını silebilirsin istersen sen. Kaldır ellerini havaya, derin bir nefes al. Yalnız değilsin bu kavgada, bunu asla ve bunu anla. Ve de yırt at o sayfayı, dünün kör düğümlerini damgalayan. Ve nedenle bugünü yaşa demek anlamlaşır. Yoksa kafa daha da karanlıklar içinde körleşir. O zaman pencere camında gördüğün örümcekleri benzetmezsin bir daha kıllanmışlara. Bağımlılıktan kurtulma, ayaklara bağlı prangadan kurtulmak, huzur bulmak babında bugünü yaşa. Barış sadece senin avuçlarındadır ve sen uzak değilsin özgür yaşamdan. Bağımlılıktan kurtarmaya çalıştığım çok yakın bir dostuma hitap ediyorum onu. Biraz uzun sürdü ama benim şiirlerim çoğu da böyle maalesef.
Maalesef deme Yaşar. Çok sağ ol Yaşar. Şimdi Aycan'ı son çağıracağım. Çünkü onun şiiri de Yaşar'ın şiiri gibi bir umut şiiridir. It's about hope. Aycan's poem is about hope. So I'm going to read my own little poem I wrote. It's about depression. So the şiirin ismi Depresyon. Niye dönmüyor artık evren? Ne gece belli ne gündüz. Ortalık ne zaman ağaracak? Kuşların cıvıltısı yok artık. Etrafta mezar sessizliği. Radyodan çıkan melodiler parazit sesleri gibi gelmekte. Kitap okumaya çalışmak boşuna. Satırlar devamlı yer değişiyor. Her şey anlamsız, her şey banal. Severdim yürümeyi sahil boyunca. Dün denize doğru yürüdüm, dehşetli bakışlar altında. Hala bu satırları yazmam Med ve Cezir olayı sayesinde. Bir ses var sürekli beynimde. Yeter artık, bitir bu işi adam. Keşke korkak biri olmasam. Konuş diyorlar, açılırsın. Dökülemiyor kelimeler ağzımdan. Sözler de anlamsızlaştı artık. Çok severdim yaprak dolmasını. Şimdi ağzımda çakıl taşları gibi. Yorgunum, çok yorgunum. Beklemeyin beni adoslar. Kaptan sen de bekleme. O sahile gelecek gücüm yok. Tünelin ucunda ışık varmış. Zamanım yetecek mi görmeye bilmiyorum. Evet. Sorry to I'm sorry to have depressed you, but this is all about depression, the poem. Now Aycan, another poet from our collective.
Teşekkür ederim. Telefonunu al da şimdi çalmasın. Evet, bu etkinliğin anlamı hepimiz konuştuk zaten. Biliyoruz. Kıbrıs'ta başladı. Bir ayağı da buradadır. Ve bu projenin içinde yer almak güzel bir şey. Maalesef bütün bu hastalıklara, kötü sürece rağmen yani insanların hayatını düşünmeden harcayan çünkü birileri yapıyor bunları da. Yani bu depresyonları, bu uyuşturucu, kumar, kötü şeylerin mutlaka bir sebebi birileri var. Ve maalesef o birileri paralar kazanırken senin, benim, onun gencecik fidanları harcanmaktadır. Hiç de umurlarında değil, inanın bana. Ve benim isyanım bunadır. Çünkü zaten bu süreç yani gençler adına çok üzülüyorum. Bizden daha şanssız olduklarını düşünüyorum. Ha belki bizim zamanımızda, bizim gençliğimizde de böylesi şeyler vardı da bu kadar değildi. Ve şimdi tabii ki basın, sosyal medya bunun yayılmasını hızlandırıyor, kapatılmasını engelliyor. Yani herkes bildiği şeyi daha özgür söyleyebiliyor, paylaşıyor. Ve üzülüyorum çünkü gençler işsizlikten yapacak bir şey yok. Hastalık, eve kapandı, internet ve eğer şanslıysa ve kötü insanlarla karşılaşmazsa sağlıklı yaşamını ailesiyle devam ettirir. Ki hiçbirimizin yarın başına ne gelecek, çocuklarımızın başına ne gelecek bilemiyoruz. Mental health olarak da öyledir. Bir saat sonra ne olacağımızı bilemiyoruz. Tak, bir anlık mesele. Onun için paylaşmak gerekir. Her şey gibi, Nazım'ın şiirini sevgili Niyazi'nin okuduğu gibi bir ağaç gibi ve tek ve hür paylaşmamız gerek. Yani milyonların içinde yalnız olmamamız gerekiyor. Bugün onaysa yarın bana diye hep bunu düşünelim. Hep bunu beynimizin bir kenarında tutalım lütfen. Evet, bu çalışmayla ilgili ben de tabii ki esinlenmişimdir. Gökkuşağı şiirimi sizlerle paylaşmak isterim. Hiç kimse korkuları, acıları ile tek başına kalmasın. Bataklığa çekilen hayatlara can, sessiz çığlıklara ses olalım. Hayatlarının baharında solmasın, ölmesin gençler. Bu insanlık aybını durduralım. Bağımlılığa karşı sen, ben değil, biz olalım. Bir direniştir tuzaklara inat, hayata tutunmak. Yarınların aydınlık yüzü olmak, umuda sarılmak. Güzel insan, tut ucundan, gök kuşağına boyansın zifiri karanlık. Unutma, her gece sabahla aydınlanır. Her gece sabahla aydınlanır. Teşekkür ederim.
ağzınıza sağlık. Çok güzel, çok duygulandım. It's wonderful. I was just thinking as I was sitting there. I mean, I only really sort of joined the community in this way a few years ago when I started working for Eurogenç TV, and for someone who suffered from high anxiety for most of my life, I remember having a conversation with Aisha actually about this a few years back, and it's really wonderful how far we've got. I know we talk about the fact that there are lots of people in our community that don't understand us, but actually, when I look, this is our community now, and we're here and we understand each other. And it's wonderful that we're having this open dialogue through the arts. For someone like myself, I've been in education for many years, about 15 years now, and it's an ongoing battle in the UK to actually have the arts be heard. And look at this, we've got wonderful stories. These are our stories, and the most complex stories come from the most creative people, you know, and thank you very much for sharing your stories with us. Thank you very much for having the courage to stand up and, you know, finally have this open dialogue, because I see some very, very young people in our audience today, and it gives me hope. It gives me hope that finally our future is open and bright. So I really look forward to hearing all of your individual stories. And hopefully we continue with this. Addiction comes in lots of different ways, and I'm really happy that Yasharabi actually mentioned the fact that the internet is also an addiction. It's not just alcohol, it's not just cigarettes, it's not just drugs, it's not just hanging about and getting into gangs. It's actually the internet, and it's quite a dangerous place, and we need to educate each other. And evidently, obviously, it doesn't just affect the young. We've got this stereotypical view that it affects the young, but actually it affects all ages and communication. And it's wonderful, after having 2 years of a pandemic, that we're able to, within reason and within limits, be able to see each other face to face, and hopefully we'll be able to do this a little bit more. But thank you very much. I've been very humbled today to hear all of your stories. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Aishan. I think we've come to the end of the program. What I'd like to say is that the Rhythm of Breath project is a wonderful example of how art is for the community. There has been an internal discussion whether art is for the sake of art, or does it have a function to help communities. So this is a great example of the latter. So thanks very much for attending. Please don't go away. We've got some refreshments, and Aishan is going to interview some of the artists who are here. Okay, thanks very much again for coming.
Thank you. So we're going to carry on now. I think we're going to literally go into it. Yeah. Right, okay, we're still like... Okay, right, so what's happening now is everyone's going to be further back, okay? Yes? Am I in the view line now? Okay, I don't know if you can actually see, but there's artwork all on the walls. Like Kaz said, this is people's stories that are actually being displayed, and they're absolutely amazing. I'm going to actually go through. You ready? Yeah? I know you didn't say any words, but I'd like to at least talk about your artwork. If you'd like to introduce yourself to our audiences.
I'm Nez, and I was asked to donate some artwork that reflected a little bit of my journey. And when I thought about it, I thought, why not? I didn't really think about doing art, to be fair, but to be honest, it was something that I took time to do. It was like a distraction from what I was feeling, and being able to put it in a creative capacity. To be honest, it was almost like a form of healing as well. So while I was going through some of the stuff, it brought up a lot of emotions for me. And I remember when I first came in and I saw people looking at my exhibit, especially one piece that I did in particular, and I saw people exploring that. To be honest, I felt really vulnerable and exposed. It was like almost like people were reading bits of my insides, and it was, yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but it was very touching. It was, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but all I know, it felt a bit uncomfortable. But you know, it's there, it's out there, and I've enjoyed the process, and I've enjoyed being a part of the exhibition, and I'm kind of glad that I was able to do that and I had that opportunity. So I'm really pleased with what I've been able to produce, and I'm looking around at what other people have been able to produce. It's amazing. There's such powerful, powerful work. I'm really blown away, and being able to actually compare what I've done and look at what other pieces people have done, it makes me not feel lonely. It makes me feel like I'm part of more, and you know, I realise how much more of a journey that I now have to go. I still have a long way to go with my healing and my journey, and listening to everyone talking today has been powerful. Like, it's inspiring, and I'm glad that I came, and I'm glad that I heard what people have to say, and I was meant to be here tonight, so I'm really happy.
I mean, you're very humble, because your artwork is truly amazing. I know you said that this is the first time you've ever actually explored, sort of showcasing your feelings through the art, but I must say I would highly recommend for people to come and actually look at your work. I mean, we had this personal conversation where I said I think you should pursue this professionally, because it's absolutely amazing. But obviously, of course, it is quite a big thing to be able to, you know, showcase your work. So thank you very much for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate that.
And I appreciate being asked to be part of it, to be fair. It's a big
wonderful.
Honour.
Thank you very much. And like I said, honestly, I would recommend for people to come and actually view it. But also, I really like the point that you made, that you said you were really happy that you came and you heard other people's story, because I think this is a point that I continue to make, that art is for the community, and when you are going through something, rather than it be a taboo subject, it's good to talk about it, but obviously through professional means as well. We're not saying that everyone should go and showcase artwork. It depends on the individual, but we're really happy that you did it, and hopefully this will be part of your healing journey. Thank you very much. Beautiful soul. Thank you. Okay, right, we're going to be moving on. Thank you very much. Okay. Would you like to come? Could you introduce to our audiences who you are and a little bit about your artwork?
Yeah, my name is Fatma Manel, and I'm training to be an art psychotherapist, and my work is in this section of the exhibition, and it kind of looks at all the kind of hidden anxieties and inadequacies that I've had to work through a lot this year in my own therapy to be able to help others through art making.
Can you tell us a little bit more about it? Is it a painting? Is it a piece of art?
Yeah, so all three of my artworks are painting based, so some of them are using watercolours and oil paints, and they're all self-portraits of me, which in the past I found really difficult to actually really think about myself and think about my self-image, but actually this year I've been able to work on that a lot more and overcome those anxieties about myself, so really that's what the artwork is dealing with.
Thank you very much for sharing this with you. And a lot of people think that mental health doesn't cover anxiety, and I myself suffer from high anxiety and have done for most of my life. So it's really refreshing to hear someone like yourself, a very educated person, a young person in our community, be able to communicate this so articulately through her artwork, through the way that you've spoken to our audiences. You know, I really thank you very much. Where do you see yourself? Like, do you want to do more artwork, or do you want to pursue helping others in the next year or so? Where do you feel like you will go with this?
Yeah, so my training should finish in a year, and hopefully I'll be a qualified art therapist working in the community with people, because I think art is such a helpful tool in helping you express your emotions, thoughts and feelings, and I've really seen the impacts of it, and I think for myself personally as well, I've always used it to reflect on my own thoughts and feelings, and yeah, so I see myself probably still pursuing it as a career, as well as, you know, helping others as well with it.
I mean, I actually work in a school that uses art therapy for conflict resolution and all sorts of other things. And I think art therapy really is in Haringey, yes. And it's a really forward way of resolving a lot of issues. And, you know, like I said, there's this constant battle within the UK, you know, is art needed in education? What are your thoughts about this?
I think absolutely it's needed in education, and the unfortunate thing is that I work also part-time in a primary school and it's not recognised as something that is core, you know, as opposed to maths, science and English, but actually creativity is really core in expressing ourselves and working on, you know, really issues that come up in all parts of life. So yeah, I do really think that it is an important place in schools.
I totally agree with you. Thank you very much for all the work that you do. Good luck with the course. And I'd like to maybe interview you next year when you qualify, because like I said, this is, you know, not many schools have art therapy, and I've seen it actually at play, and it's really, really effective. The fact that we've got somebody like yourself in our community and a young person is absolutely so inspirational. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cool. Right, okay. We're going to be interviewing more people. Edim? No? Yes? Okay. Come no, Bear. Oh, you look lovely in blue today. Wonderful colour. Right, I'm going to be moving over like this. What do you think about today?
Oh my God, this has been an amazing experience, and I think it was probably about a year ago, if you asked me about my community, I would have probably said I'll probably stay away because I don't think that we're together. But I think with COVID and everything else, we've been brought together, and actually we've seen a different side to our community, which is absolutely amazing to see. And having projects like this also makes me realise that actually we've moved on quite a lot from these taboos, and we're actually on the way to amend. We're mending our community, we're becoming one, and we're becoming whole. It's absolutely amazing, and I brought a friend here with me today. He suffers with mental health himself and through addiction. He's not Turkish Cypriot, but again we showed our hospitality and how welcoming we are, because his piece has also taken part today in this exhibition, and his journey has been really heartbreaking. This is probably the first outing that he's been out in years and felt accepted somewhere and felt like someone said well done. And I think it's quite important for us to welcome these people and bring them into the society and community and make them feel accepted. So I think I'm just so proud to be here. I'm proud to be part of something this amazing, and I look forward for us to do many more work.
Yeah, and definitely, and coming from yourself, because obviously you're involved in the NHS, you actually work for the NHS, it's really good that professional bodies like the NHS, people in education, are actually appreciating art and, you know, being our advocates for actually moving it forward, because, you know, during the pandemic, I truly do believe that a lot of people did rely on the arts, you know, even in the home, to actually get through the day. And a few people were actually saying that, you know, even a normal person, saying normal person, you know, has these thoughts, you know, at least how many times a year. So, you know, I think 6
times a year, isn't it?
6 times a year. But yeah, I look forward to you walking around and maybe telling me which one's your favourite piece as well. It really, really does feel like an art exhibition today, isn't it? We've completely transformed this room. I just can't believe it.
I have to say, I'm so inspired, and I'm not anyone that draws or writes or anything, but next year you will see something on the wall from me, absolutely.
Me too.
I'm so inspired. It's amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it? It is. It's really, truly inspirational. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's lovely to see you. Right, okay, we've got some young people here now. I'll let you introduce yourselves and then I'll ask you a few questions.
Hello, I'm Melissa. I'm Yasmin.
Welcome, Melissa and Yasmin. What do we think, first of all, of today?
I think it's wonderful how all the art is represented, representing mental health. I think it's so interesting.
I think that it's really good that from loads of generations the Turkish Cypriot community have joined together and expressed how they feel about mental health, and it shows how, yes, we've progressed, but also there are still concepts that are misunderstood about mental health in society, but I think overall we've progressed much more, you know, than we have done in the past.
Definitely. Obviously, you're both still in education, I believe. What do you think? Because obviously, it's not just about mental health; it's about well-being as well. Well-being, you know, like we heard, even the most well person has points where they need some sort of guidance, they need some sort of communication, the ability to speak to somebody. What do we think about having more well-being and arts within education and within schools?
I think it would be great because, well, people need something to express their emotions in, whether that's music, art or acting. They just need a form of a healthy coping mechanism for whatever they're going through. So I think it would be wonderful if schools could do more and etc. Yeah.
I feel like there are millions of teenagers in this life who walk on this earth with no guidance and no sense of purpose of who they are and what their like what their reason is for being on this life. So I think that through the arts they can really express that, and then through that they can find who they are and their identity and their purpose in life.
Yeah, and art isn't just about being good at drawing. It's lots of different things, isn't it? It's like listening to music. Even if you don't actually create art, it's being part of art, like listening to a song, for example. And social media, we do say that it's very negative, but there's also positives to it as well. What positives do you think there is in social media, for example?
I mean, connecting with people that are the same as you, and finding out different things that's going across in the world that you're interested in, that you can't witness when you're in a certain country. Let's say you're in the UK and you want to find out something that's going on in America, you can't exactly. So the social media connects you with different pathways in life. Yeah,
definitely. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that social media doesn't just include, Instagram and Snapchat and social media apps. It also includes like the internet in general, and I think that the internet being like shows and films as well. And it does various different shows that I can't think of right now, but they're, it's very relatable and, kind of stops teenagers to kind of think about their life and reflect and maybe stop doing, stuff that may inflict harm on themselves, such as, suicide, for example. I know that is an extreme, but it is very, it is common in teenagers, which is very unfortunate, but it's also common in adults as well, which is also a very taboo issue, I think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to have more of a healthy discussion about this. We talk about taboo, but it seems to be like there's a bit of a taboo about social media as well. And yes, we need to be aware of all the negatives, but we also need to embrace it as well, the older generation, so that the young are heard, because there is that forum, there's Twitter, there's all sorts of things that you go on, and I think if we use it positively, then it will be a positive thing. Thank you very much. Any favourite pieces or favourite moments of today?
I love everything that I've seen today. It's very, very interesting.
Can you tell us a little bit about your art piece?
Well, I have two songs that are being presented today. One is called Guilt and Regret, and one is called Meant to Be. Guilt and Regret is about being overwhelmed with your trauma, and Meant to Be is about going through heartbreak. And yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing your story with us today. We really much appreciate it, and we are very proud of you. Thank you. Any favourite moments or art pieces for you?
I think, in general, the art pieces here are wonderful because they relate to my own personal experiences as well, But I think that my favourite art piece is actually by, there's an art piece over there. It's by Anonymous. I think it's really, really kind of, relatable to me. Not at the moment, but recently I felt quite alone recently and quite kind of cut off by people, even though my family loves me and they supported me. Obviously, I've powered through that, and I'm better, fortunately. But yeah, that is the reason why it's one of my favourite art pieces here.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point to make. You could have a very healthy, good life, have a supporting family, but mental health or well-being, as we talk about, can affect everybody in any situation. It could be about school, it could be about pressures to do with, getting a certain grade and all sorts of things. So really, what we're encouraging today is to have that open discussion and not be afraid to actually voice this. And you're able to do that. So well done you. Thank you very much again for sharing your story and telling that to our audiences. Thank you very much, girls. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you later. Right, anybody else? Okay, let's walk around. I share, being interviewed by I share. This is like my very long friend. And like I said, we had, right, we're going to move. Are we in the, oh, we'll swap. Okay, this way. Are we in the view shot now? Are we good? Sorry, our very kind cameraman has just guided us so that we can be fully viewed. I mean, Aisha, you've been working in the community for many, many years, and obviously you have your own organisation. Can you, first of all, tell us a little bit about what you do and what you've done for the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years? 20 years. 20 years? 20 years.
Actually, the charity came about, Family-Based Solutions came about from a Turkish family. They came over to London from Turkey, and it transpired that the son was abusing the parent. I assumed it was the father, but it was actually the son. Didn't know what to do with it, so we just set up our own charity because we thought there's got to be a need there. Our highest caseloads come from the Turkish community. So we have a lot of Turkish Cypriots and a lot of Turkish-speaking communities that come to us, mainly because of domestic abuse, mental health. But when you start talking about mental health and even the recovery of mental health, it's very, very taboo. You know, the first thing they say is, you're not going to tell anyone I'm here, are you? Can you tell me who's in the office just in case I walk through the door and I see someone else I know? It's so taboo, it's unbelievable. And that's where I think we need the education. We really need the education to accept that everyone is an individual. Although we're a collective, we are also individuals, and everyone's going to have good days, bad days, mental health, no mental health, and respect that and not be there to judge.
Definitely, 100%. You've helped me anyway when I've had my anxiety days. You've been able to sit down and talk to me. You have a wonderful, wonderful way about you. It was very interesting. You touched upon something, and I want to just explore that a little bit. You said not only do you deal with the victims, but you deal with the perpetrators. Now, that is an even bigger taboo, because obviously, in our mind's eye, when we talk about a perpetrator, we just think about pure evil, somebody who's abused somebody else. Can you enlighten us a little bit about that as a professional?
Yeah, so where we work with child-to-parent abuse, our main objective is to stop children from growing up to become future perpetrators and future victims. And most of the kids that we work with have been through domestic abuse, have witnessed it, or been subject to it. So it only makes sense to work with perpetrators because they were kids once. No child, no baby is born an abuser. No one is. You have narcissists, you have people that just kind of, you know, do what they're going to do for fun. But you've also got the people out there with real mental health issues that don't know how to conduct themselves. And their own childhood experiences have a massive effect on their relationships. So we can either stand there and say, you are an abuser, you know, that's it, you're an abuser, you're a perpetrator, or we can help them. So why not help them? Why not help them? Because helping them means that they can then influence their children, and that's how you break the cycle. Otherwise, we're just pointing fingers, and no one wins by pointing fingers. They know what they've done. There's no point in talking about it. So we've been kind of doing this for a little while now. But what's brilliant is that the guys and females, because we also work with female perpetrators as well, when they come to us, they laugh, they giggle, and the important message we send to them is, find yourself. Take away the label of perpetrator, take away the label of depression, whatever it means. Find yourself, and then we work from there. Because without the perpetrating, you are actually a fantastic person. So what difference would it make if you weren't being abusive? What kind of a person would we see then? And that's the work that we do.
God, this is such powerful work. Aisha, listening to you. I mean, it's family-based solutions, right? I've said that correctly for your organisation. If somebody does need help, obviously they probably do need to fit certain criteria. But what can they do? How can they find you? If you could just give us a little bit of information for your, you know, for your company, for your charity.
So any family can refer where children from the age of 5 to 18 are being any form of abuse, you know, throwing any form of abuse at home, ongoing abuse. So not just a one-off, it has to be ongoing abuse. And can I just please stress that children are not born abusers. There's always reasons for what they're doing. If you are someone that's been affected by domestic abuse and would like to be supported in recovery of that, they can contact us. Any adult that wants to, male or female, that wants to break the cycle of being abusive towards other adults, they can contact us. We're on Facebook, Family Based Solutions. They can contact us on our website, Family Based Solutions, or email us on admin@familybasedsolutions.org.uk.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much, Aisha. Like I said, an amazing lady. Honestly, I know you as a friend, but your organisation, and I know that you do a lot of charity fundraising as well. What was the last charity? Just quickly, we'll just quickly look at that, because they do some wild stuff.
The men were waxed.
The men were waxed. Yeah. Tell us about the one where they did the pretend going into labour. You've got to tell me about that as well.
So yeah, the domestic abuse, you are more likely to experience domestic abuse when you're pregnant. You're 40% more likely. So we raised awareness of females as victims who are pregnant by rigging up the men to the retention machine, and it was just the most hilarious thing to watch them go through first and second stage of labour and how much they coped. But it was about raising awareness, and I do the 2-day silence every year to raise awareness of men who are going through mental health and the stigma of coming forward and men being abused, because that's really important. Because there's a lot of services out there for women. That doesn't make it easy to come forward, but there are a lot of services out there for women and nothing for men, so I always raise awareness for men. But actually, while I'm here, can I quickly say thank you to Aishan. You're fantastic. Thank you to everybody here. Thank you to CTCA for raising awareness. And Medi, it's Medi Foundation, what a brilliant setup. And I'm looking forward to educating and being in the community and feeling proud of us.
Yeah, definitely. And you're a very valued member of our community. Thank you. Just carry on doing what you do. Thank you very much. I think now we're going to be handing over to Cyprus, where I think Ertanç Bey, are you going to be taking over? Okay, thank you very much. Shall I give you the microphone?
Sen ne yaparsın?
Evet sevgili izleyiciler, şimdi Kıbrıs'la bir bağlantı yaptık. Biz etkinliğimizi tamamladık. Kıbrıs'la bir bağlantı yaptık. Kıbrıs'taki arkadaşlarla konuşacağız. Evet, karşımızda İsmet Medi. Selam İsmet, hello there.
Abi nasılsın?
Sağ ol İsmet, çok teşekkürler. We've just concluded our event. It's been very successful. It's been excellent. So we want to know what's going on in Cyprus. How is your event going? How is the preparation going?
Abi, first of all, thank you very much. I've watched quite a lot of your show. I couldn't see all of it because we was doing preparations here and last minute stuff. We've delayed our start now to have this broadcast with you. Great show. I see a lot of the talking now. So Kaz and Sunny and yourself, Aishen, and a few others, and a little bit of the poet, and towards the end now, fantastic show. Really pleased to be a joint project. Rhythm of Breath, the Nefese Dönüş project has been fantastic for our community. Just really, really, really happy that we're all together and part of this project.
Yeah, excellent. Say anything else about the event in Cyprus? This is the last day of the event. How do you assess how it's gone?
Well, this is our first day. So today's our first day. Tomorrow's our last day.
Okay.
So yeah, everything's going very well. Look, very happy and very excited tonight from both the live shows in the UK and North Cyprus. Fantastic thing for raising awareness in addictions, education, prevention, support from recovery, mental health and well-being. And it took us 10 months of planning and disruptions from the lockdowns. And I'm very pleased to say tonight we're ready. Obviously, you've had your show, which is fantastic. We're now ready. Some amazing pieces of art, poetry from your end, dancing, ceramics, masterpieces, and many other activities that we're going to have live. Look, I want to say a very big thank you to your organisations there, especially to you and Erin and Goulet there at the forefront, all to the NACO teams, the 21 different organisations. We've all come together for this. Been absolutely amazing for our community. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me? Because I've got a lot of stuff here that I can say.
I know you are very busy. You are trying to go and get the preparations going and start your event. So I'll talk to others who are with you, Ismet. For example, is Abdullah there?
Yeah, we'll call Abdullah. So thank you very much, everybody. Really, really appreciate all your hard work. And I'm sure see you again next year.
See you next year, Ismet. If not before.
Alo. Yok budur sadece çalışıyor.
Abdullah Denizhan. Selamlar Abdullah. Nasılsın?
Merhaba Ertan abi.
Epeyce heyecanlı görünüyorsun. Nasıl gidiyor orada her şey?
Evet çok güzel heyecanlıyız. Biraz panik koşturma başlıyoruz yavaş yavaş. Toplanmaya başladık. Güzel bir gece olur umarım. Heyecanlıyız. Ben şey yapayım, yukarıya çıkmam gerek şimdi. Soundcheck'leri bitirmek için. Leman Hanım'ı size hemen şey yapayım, aktarayım. Sonra daha öyle uzun uzun görüşmek üzereyim. Sesiniz kesildi. Tamam, teşekkür ederim çok. İyi akşamlar.
Çok koparak geliyor. Merhaba. Kuzey Kıbrıs Türk Cumhuriyeti'nden heyecanlı, sevgi dolu, saygı dolu, muhteşem bir geceden hepinize selamlıyorum. 3 hafta gibi uzun bir çalışmanın ardından.
İyi akşamlar Abdullah.
İyi akşamlar. Ben Leman Cankan.
Evet. Leman Hanım biz de İntere'den Kıbrıs'ta yaptığınız çalışmaları çok büyük bir ilgi ve beğeniyle izliyoruz. Biz de bugün bir etkinlik yaptık. Londra ayağını gerçekleştirdik. Neler söyleyeceksiniz etkinlikleri hakkında genel olarak?
Evet, biz de burada 3 hafta Covid'in arkasından gerçekten çok verimli, çok güzel, çok kaliteli, yüz yüze yapabildiğimiz atölye çalışmalarımız oldu. Bizler seramik çalışması yaptık. İşte tiyatro, resim, bale, dans gibi, perküsyon çalışmaları gibi etkinlikler oldu. Bu gece de büyük final. Çok heyecanlıyız. Sanatçı arkadaşlarımız burada. Halkımız yavaş yavaş toplanıyor. Havanın kararmasını bekliyoruz bu geceye başlayabilmek için. Ben öncelikle bu proje için Başbakanlık Uyuşturucular Mücadele Komisyon Başkanı Hasan Karaokçu ve ekibine, Medi Foundation sevgili arkadaşımız Medi İsmet'e, sizlere, İngiltere'ye ve Türkiye'den bize katılan Konya'dan sanatçımıza çok teşekkür etmek istiyorum. Sizi Tuğçe arkadaşımıza bağlamak istiyorum bu gece. Onun da çok güzel bir gösterisi var. Hepinize sevgiler, saygılar, selamlar. Hoşça kalın.
Çok teşekkürler Leman Hanım.
Herkese merhabalar.
Merhabalar Tuğçe Doygunel. Nasılsınız? Evet. Umarım iyisinizdir, heyecanlısınız. Nasıl gidiyor?
Evet, heyecanlıyız. Yanımda da Mizgin Bozkaya var. Kendisi dans partnerim. Bu gece birlikte bir dans performansımız var. Çok güzel bir ortamdayız.
Performansınızla ilgili neler söyleyeceksiniz? Nedir performansınız?
Dans performansımız var. Bir modern dans performansı sergileyeceğiz birlikte. Bu projede, bu ortamda yer almaktan çok büyük bir mutluluk duyuyoruz şu anda. Gerçekten anlamlı ve amaçlı bir şey için güzel insanlarla bir araya geldiğimiz bir yerdeyiz.
Evet. Mezgin Hanım'a da soralım. Mezgin Hanım, şimdi sanatını kullanarak, sanatınızı kullanarak bağımlılık ve ruh sağlığı üzerine farkındalık yaratmak çok güzel bir şey. Yani bu konuda neler diyeceksiniz?
Yani biz bu performansımızı çalışırken Tuğçe Doygunel'le bu konularla alakalı, şu an bu projemizin konusuyla alakalı birçok doğaçlama çalışmalarımız oldu. Duygu içerikli dışa vurumla alakalı. Bundan dolayı iki farklı karakter olarak bu konu üzerinde çalıştık. Bir iki aya yakındır. Bunun yani zaten dansın dışa vurum için çok anlamlı ve çok güzel bir enerjisi olur genelde. Onu göstermek adına bu gece güzel bir performansımız olacak. Umarım bu dışa vurum herkese iletilir. Herkesle paylaşılır.
Evet. Çok teşekkür ediyorum sizlere ve
Biz
sizi
teşekkür ederiz.
kutlarım sizi. Evet.
Biz teşekkür ederiz. Şimdi Ayça. Pardon, özür dilerim.
Hasan Bey.
Hasan Bey geliyor sanırım.
Oradan buraya nasıl taşınacak?
Erkan Çapı.
Hasan Bey iyi günler.
İyi akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar.
Şükür kavuşturana değilim.
Şükür kavuşturana aynen. Hasan Bey şimdi sizleri büyük bir ilgiyle, beğeniyle izliyoruz Londra'dan. Biz de etkinliğimizi gerçekleştirdik. Neler söyleyeceksiniz bu akşamki etkinlik için? Görüyorum çok heyecanlı, çok yoğunsunuz. O yüzden sizi pek fazla tutmak istemiyorum. Buyurun, sizleri dinliyoruz.
Çok teşekkür ederim. Öncelikle İngiltere'deki bütün vatandaşlarımıza yürekten sevgi ve selamlarımı iletiyorum. Tabii ki bu Nefese Dönüş Projesi'nin İngiltere'deki buradaki Kıbrıs Türklerin yüreklerinin birleşmesi en büyük arzumuzdu. Siz de bu konuda çok önemli bir görev üstlendiniz ve gerçekten istediğimiz noktada buluşabildiğimize ben inanıyorum. Özellikle İngiltere'den bu projeye inanan, destek veren bütün sanatçı arkadaşlarımıza, öncelikle size çok teşekkür etmek istiyorum. Gerçekten büyük emek verildi. Yaklaşık burada 30'a yakın sanatçı ve düşünür projemize katıldı, destek verdi. Bizim bütün amacımız artık uyuşturucu sorunu yüzünden çocuklarımızın nefesinin tükenmemesidir. Bu anlamda Nefese Dönüş Projesi'ni gerçekleştirdik. Sanat çok etkili bir yöntem olduğuna inanıyorum ve gerçekten bu akşam da hem sizlerin katkısıyla hem bütün sanatçılarımızın katkısıyla bağımlılıklarla mücadele alanında çok güzel bir mesaj vereceğimize inanıyorum. Çok sağ olun.
Çok teşekkürler Hasan Bey. Biz İngiltere'de bu yıl küçük bir etkinlik düzenledik ama
anlamı çok büyük.
Anlamı çok büyük ama gelen yıl söz veriyoruz daha da kapsamlı, geniş kapsamlı bir etkinlikte beraber olacağız. Çok teşekkürler Hasan Bey. Başka yanınızda başka konuşmak
Tabii ki var, sanatçı arkadaşlarımız var sırada, hemen geliyorlar.
Tamam, onlarla da konuşalım.
Alo.
Merhabalar.
Merhabalar.
Kendinizi tanıtır mısınız lütfen?
Ben Ayça İnal Abdu, İstanbul Devlet Balesi sanatçısıyım. Bu projede olmaktan dolayı çok mutluyum gerçekten. Çok güzel olacağını düşünüyoruz. Heyecanlıyız.
Evet. Biz de Londra'dan, İngiltere'den etkinliklerinizi çok büyük bir beğeniyle
ses gitti. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Katılımınız için, gösterdiğiniz ilgi için, destek için çok teşekkür ederiz. Şimdiden güzel de veriyorum. Çok teşekkürler. Saygılar, görüşmek üzere.
Alo, merhaba. Merhaba, iyi akşamlar.
Teşekkür ederiz. Biz size teşekkür ederiz. Güzel, biz de yanıtırız öncelikle.
Merhaba, internetten dolayı sanırım biraz yavaş geliyor sesler. Öncelikle iyi yayınlar diliyorum sizlere. Adım İzel Seylani, konservatuvar tiyatro bölümü mezunuyum. İngiltere'de master yapıp sonra doktoramı tamamladıktan sonra Kıbrıs'ta tiyatro sanatçısı olarak hayatıma devam ediyorum.
Yayın çok iyi.
Soru soruyorsanız ben sizi duymuyorum. Yayın internetten dolayı kesiliyor olabilir zaman zaman. Fakat çok heyecanlıyız. Bu akşam çok güzel bir atmosfer var burada. Mahmut Paşa Otoparkı'nın damında. Müthiş bir dayanışma örneği sergiliyoruz. Birçok sanat disiplini arasında. Bu akşam sahnede ve Total Space alanında mükemmel bir performanslar dizisi seyirciye sunuluyor. İngiltere'deki dostlarımıza da buradan kucak dolusu sevgiler göndermek istiyorum.
İzel Bey duyuyoruz.
Şimdi nasıl? Ses kesiliyor sanırım.
Soluk kesilmiyor. Anladım.
Evet, şimdi duyabiliyor musunuz beni?
Şimdi... Evet.
Evet. Oldukça güzel bir akşam burada toplandık. Mahmut Paşa Otoparkı'nın damında fevkalade bir sanat disiplinleri festivali bu akşam seyirciye sunuluyor. Çok heyecanlıyız. Oldukça güzel bir organizasyon. İngiltere'deki dostlarımıza da sevgiler, kucak dolusu sevgiler gönderiyoruz buradan. Ve şimdi
Çok
sevgili dostum...
İzel Bey. Size başarılar dilerim.
Çok teşekkürler. Sevgili dostum Hanife Tayyareci'yi ben buraya davet etmek istiyorum. Tiyatro sanatçısı. İyi yayınlar diliyorum sizlere. Evet, teşekkürler.
Biz sizi çok Evet, sizi temiz duyuyoruz
merhaba
biz sizi.
herkese.
Bütün
Kıbrıs'tan
söylediklerinizi aldık. Çok... Evet.
Sanırım biraz geç gidiyor. Merhaba, ben Hanife Tayyareci.
Evet.
Sesim geliyor mu?
Evet. Tamam. Çok teşekkürler. İyi yayınlar size de. İyi yayınlar.
Merhaba, ben Hanife Tayyareci. 3 haftadır buradayız.
Merhabalar.
Kukla atölyeleri, tiyatro atölyeleri yaptık burada.
Nasılsınız?
İyiyim, teşekkür ederim. Sizler nasılsınız?
Heyecanlısınız. Göründü. Evet. Hani hanım sizin geliyor, sizi duyuyoruz. Sizi çok iyi duyuyoruz. Siz bizi duymuyorsunuz galiba.
Sesler geç gidip geliyor. Sanırım bu da biraz geç gelecek şimdi bu söylediklerim. Ben yapıp sizleri başkasıyla baş başa bırakayım. Burada olmaktan çok mutluyuz. Böyle anlamlı bir etkinlikte olmaktan, her zaman sahne üstünde olmaktan mutluluk duyacağımızı sizlere belirtir. Kucak dolusu sevgiler yolluyoruz. Birazdan çok güzel bir masal anlatımıyla sizlerle beraber olacağım. Hepinizi öpüyor. İyi yayınlar diliyorum.
Tamam.
Abi?
Hello. Çok teşekkürler Hanif Hanım. Sizlere duyuyor musun İsmet?
Evet, duyuyorum seni abi. Şimdi duyarım.
Evet. Tamam. Biz sizi hep duyduk. Diğer arkadaşları da duyduk. Aldık seslerini. Son olarak İsmet neler söyleyeceksin? Bırakalım. Çünkü hazırlıklarınız var. Son sözlerinizi alayım ve kapatalım İsmet. Buyur.
Abi, look, we've done this project to raise awareness, as you know, in the addiction and mental health and well-being. Something Soder said earlier on in there, sexual abuse as well. It's a big part of everything. That leads to mental health as well. What I want to say, even in just this 3 weeks, Abby, this awareness, what we've created, and this taboo that we're talking about is definitely we're definitely having a breakthrough with this now. Definitely. I've had eight phone calls. I've seen or spoke to 8 different people for help. And the Anti-Drugs Commission has also took in 3 or 4 people for treatment. And this is just in 2 or 3 weeks. So we're definitely making it. We're all over the country. It's been everywhere. It's been massive. and doing this jointly with you, you know, in the UK, as our friends, as our partners, as our community has been fantastic. Really has. Abi, I mentioned to you earlier on, we might have a special guest arriving very soon. So I don't know if you could come back to us live. I don't know. Let me know if you can, and we'll come back to you.
I'll have to check with Gulay, Ismet.
Okay.
For the time being, thanks very much and good luck to you tonight. I don't think you need any luck. You've been excellent.
We always need luck, Abi.
Following up the action. If we're able to connect once the Prime Minister comes, we'll let you know, okay?
Yes, okay. Well, we'll let you know when he's here and see if we can do something, yeah?
Okay, Ismet. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Say hello to everyone back there. Thank you.
I will do. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you, Abi. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Hello, we are back in London now. It's been wonderful to connect to Northern Cyprus and see the wonderful things that they're doing. But now we have got a wonderful person here, Kaz from Wigs for Heroes. If you could just first of all tell us a little bit about your charity. I know you gave a bit of background in your speech, but why you set it up and, you know, how you set it up and what's happening with your charity at the moment.
So I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2017, and a couple of weeks after my own diagnosis, I essentially started a charity because I saw a bit of an injustice when it came to people on lower incomes and obtaining wigs and just getting advice in general. I was completely lost. I did lose my hair, unfortunately, and I didn't really know what to do, where to go. And so I started fundraising for the people at my hospital and never anticipated that it would turn into a charity, but it did. And now we are based in TCCA. We have our own office. We support people with a gift of a wig, which comes in the form of a grant. And we also put together these beautiful pamper bags, which we deliver to the chemotherapy unit in North Middlesex Hospital every week. So they actually get given to people on their first day of chemotherapy, just so that they don't feel alone, and also to feel pampered and a little bit more uplifted during one of the most difficult times of their lives. And we also do support group meetings. So at the moment we run something called the Coffee Club, the Heroes Coffee Club, where we send out little coffee club boxes to people who are obviously shielding due to COVID. So they have virtual support group meetups, and yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what we do.
You do some amazing things. So basically, if anyone is to find you, they can find you. Your base is at the TCCA. Any other ways on social media that they can find you?
Yeah, we're all over social media. So if you just type in Wigs for Heroes, we'll come up on search engines, Instagram, Facebook.
Tell us a little bit about, I mean, you're very humble, but you've done some amazing things recently. You've been on the BBC and doing lots of wonderful things, a wonderful voice for women, not only women, but women who've gone through cancer. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I think as a Turkish Cypriot, firstly, it's really important to get the message out there that, you know, you're not alone, because a lot of people feel like they are alone during one of the most, again, difficult times of their lives. I never knew that you could be so young and get a cancer diagnosis. I've had breast cancer twice now in the last 4 years. So the first time was 2017, second time was 2019. Touch wood, I'm in remission now. But I sort of want to be able to put my story out there because I know that there's going to be a lot of other people that can relate. There's going to be a lot of other people who may be feeling alone, but I'm around, you know, I got through it. If I could give one person hope that they can get through treatment, that they can sort of face the unimaginable, then it's up to me to sort of keep sharing and raising awareness, and also making sure that you guys are all checking your breasts, men included, because my father-in-law, he actually had breast cancer. He's one of the 1 in 1,000 men that actually gets diagnosed with cancer in the UK, and sadly he did pass away from secondary breast cancer. But I am an advocate for self-awareness, self-checks, and again, you know, within our community there isn't a lot of advocacy for that. I think when we establish a problem, we then go to the GP and, you know, try to get them to help us, but we need to be aware of our own bodies, we need to be checking ourselves, we need to teach our daughters, our young uns how to, you know, be aware of our bodies, and so that's really important to me as well. It's about raising awareness all around, yeah.
Yes, I think you're very good at raising awareness, especially the point that you made about men can also get breast cancer. That's something that I don't think is known out there too much, and obviously with the checks for women is very, very important. You're a very creative person. I really admire you. I follow your Instagram, and from the way you're dressed today, you've got a unique sense of style, and you know, you're an inspiration for young women and women in general out there. And obviously, because you're so creative, you created this art piece. Again, I know you explained it in your speech, but if you could just give us a little summary again about it and your thoughts and feelings for today and the rhythm of breath.
When I was younger, I actually studied fine art at university, so I am an art graduate, but sadly never put it to use, if you like. So this is actually the first time I'm exhibiting any sort of work about myself since university. I'm 35 now, so that was going back a few years. But my piece is about my time with cancer. It's about the sort of hair loss I experienced after 12 days. It was so sudden, so quick. I watched it all fall out in one day. I used to wear a scarf and have my hair collected in there. I didn't want to watch it fall out, but eventually I had to. And it's not just about the hair loss, it's more about everything that follows, as I explained earlier. It's about the pills, it's about the hospital visits, it's about the self-injections. It's just about the trauma that I experienced then. And every time I do look at my hair, every time the door knocks, I'm sort of reminded of that past trauma, and it's facing that reality. I'm not mentally ill, you know, I might have some mental health issues. I'm not crazy.
We all do.
But we all have trauma to deal with, and it might take me years. I may never get over it. I may always be worried about losing my hair, which I am. I may always be worried about a reoccurrence when it comes to cancer, but it's about my time with it, and as well as there's a lot of pros which I do show on like my Instagram and everything else, but there is that sad reality of the horrific time that I did experience. So it's a reflection of the most brutal time, I suppose, when it came to cancer.
Thank you very much for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate it, and we are very inspired by you. Continue with the wonderful work that you're doing, honestly. Big up for strong women like yourself in our community. Honestly, thank you very much, Kaz. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's brilliant. Now we are going to be having our CEO, Eddie Meto, wonderful man that he is, one of the individuals that's made today happen, really. What are your thoughts and feelings?
I think it's amazing that we've got so many inspirational people that come together to be able to support the community. We've got amazing people that just had Kaz here. How amazing is it for someone that's gone through all that she has to be connected with her community, to be able to inspire others within our community? And I think that people who have got the platform now to use the centres like ours to be able to showcase their ability, and also to platform, like I said earlier on, taboo subjects. There's a lot of taboo subjects in our community, but they're no longer taboo because we are challenging those, and people who are suffering because they're classified as taboo are no longer alone. They're with organisations like ours, organisations like Edible London, Wigs for Heroes, and all the other myriad of individuals we've got in our community which are able to support people.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects that are ongoing at the TCCA at the moment as well, just to quickly summarise for our audience?
Sure. As TCCA, what we've got is 21 core projects, which range from the ones which are well known, which is the COVID project, all the way across to Luncheon Club, advice. We do things like home care and so forth. We're always moving forward, so there's always, when issues come up, that we are moving forward to challenge those issues. And at the moment, employment is a big issue, so we started a Kickstart scheme. On top of that, we're doing stuff to do with mental health, and we're thinking about concepts that will help people, like morning drop-in, where people can come in and talk about their issues. We're looking at trying to give debt counselling, because obviously with COVID and people losing a myriad of work, that's become a really pertinent issue in our community. So we're trying to help people to debt manage and try to move forward with being able to cope with issues around financing. And we have all these other initiatives that we're planning on doing. We've got the festival, which obviously we do with partnership with all these amazing organisations. We've got the awards, which we're going to try to do again, which recognises the amazing community that we've got. And if we look at our community, what makes me really proud is if we went back 5 years ago, that individuals in our community were very ad hoc with each other, and there was very limited working together. But with younger individuals, with very inspirational young people that we've got in our community, have all taken the forward, like yourselves, Euro Against being able to platform individuals and try and get people to work together, Edible London, all these individuals are now harnessed. They all have their own skill sets, and you listen to Sonia speak, you listen to Kaz speak, they're very inspirational. And when our young people look at these people and say to themselves, like, I want to be like that, I'm very proud of my community like they are, it means that we buy into this concept of working together and our community being able to come together all together.
I'd like to thank you personally as well, Edin, for actually bringing all of these communities together, all these groups together. Honestly, it took an individual like yourself, very open-minded, very hard-working, to be able to, you know, bring them together. But obviously, yes, I think
it's like that guy over there, Sonny, always says. He always says teamwork makes the dream work. So as a team, we are all members of this human race that we kind of share the same earth, and isn't it wonderful that we can now, you know, say that we are brothers and sisters on this earth, and we're trying to bring together our community to be able to support those most in need, and then allow our young to be able to be proud of us as community members and be proud of the way we have moved the Turkish Cypriot idea and what we are as Turkish Cypriots. And we haven't cut out people. So anyone who says that, you know, like, if your identity, if you want to identify yourself in a certain way, it's up to you. But at the end of the day, at our core, we are Turkish Cypriots, and we come together on that core value.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, it was really inspiring to have some of our youngsters, you know, some of our daughters, some of our sons actually come in and actually view this artwork and make comment. It's really, really refreshing and hopeful for the future. Thank you very much, Edin, for your few words. Yes, please, we need the man from Edible London now. Just before we end our broadcast, he was running around, and I want you to come stand on this side, if you don't mind, because I want my better side now, because I've seen enough of my bad side.
That's our bad side.
Honestly, you've got such a positive energy, Sonia. Thank you very much for everything that you do. I know you did describe to us in your speech how Edible London came about, but if you could again, for our audiences maybe who have just tuned in, just give us a little bit description of how you formed Edible London and what your current projects are as well.
Edible London actually just started from simplicity. I've always grown up, and my dad, you know, was a farmer. He always used to grow vegetables in my garden. So Edible London was never a business plan or, you know, something that I set out to do. I just started growing food in my mum and dad's garden. And from there, I ran out of space. It was winter. I wanted to do more. So I started volunteering for Wolves Lane, as everyone knows, which is, you know, where Edible London's legacy was born. And then everything, with no puns intended, just organically materialized after that. I mean it. Like, we started planting veg, started giving away the vegetables, and then through that, you know, finding the people that needed the food, because I'm not just going to go and give it to people who don't need it. So that was sort of like where Edible London became its identity. So, yeah.
That's amazing. And you know what's amazing, actually, I don't know if you know this story, but I work in a school in Haringey, and what was amazing is that we were doing food runs for our vulnerable parents, and as I was getting involved in that, your name popped up. Not just through the Cypriot community, the Turkish Cypriot community, but through the schools of Haringey. You're like so known now in Haringey for, you know, saving so many vulnerable families. So, you know, I've never really had the opportunity to thank you personally about this, but honestly, it was really quite emotional for me when they started talking about you and they didn't even know that I knew you. So honestly, you've touched so many lives now. You should be really, really proud of yourself. That's some good karma coming your way. Can you tell us a little bit about your future projects?
Oh, yeah. So as everyone knows, the mayor was down last week. He came to sort of like open up our new project in St. Anne's, and that's going to be an absolute phenomenal project. We've just built a high-tech kitchen, like really, really the highest tech kitchen in Haringey, and it's going to be a training kitchen for young children. We're using this project as a platform to try and reduce young youth crime in the area, and there's so much of it. You've got it all over London, but in Haringey, you know, this is our focus area, so that's what the kitchen is there for. We've also started something that not many people know, so I suppose this is exclusive.
I got an exclusive. Go on, tell me.
But for some time now, behind the scenes, I've been working on an absolute immense project, and it involves quite a lot of land outside of London. To be precise, we're starting with 70 acres, but the whole site is a 130-acre estate. It's in South Buckinghamshire. I'm also starting a new charity. I'm working with a group of people, and we're forming a new charity called Big Roots, which is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. And Edible London is currently incubating this organisation. But yeah, there's going to be so much to come now when it comes to what Edible London delivers behind the scenes. Everyone knows Edible London as these food warriors, and we are. We absolutely are. We're distributing over 30,000 meals worth of ingredients a week, independently, with very minimal resources. But the next phase of Edible London is what we've been doing behind the scenes. So creating all these growing spaces and, you know, regularly having facilitators there, week in, week out, opening our doors so people can come and find a safe space to work, learn new skills, get to know their community, make friendships. And through this, I can't explain to you how much more magic is being created. You know, hundreds, and I can honestly say actually it's beyond hundreds, thousands and thousands of people are now recipients of the blueprint that we have built here. And I just want everyone to know this as well, because lately, because we've blown up, a lot of organizations, a lot of people keep on saying, you know, why ain't you a charity? You can get so much more money and so much more support if you're a charity. I need everyone to know that I founded Edible London, not a charity, for a reason. You know, the way we make our money is through selling jams and selling vegetables and doing educational workshops. And that money, the reason we're a not-for-profit is that money pays the other side of Edible London, which is 80% charitable work. So the blueprint I've devised is to show people that you don't need to be a charity to do good. You don't need to have a charity status to do charitable work. And you know what, another thing I want to say, a big thank you to Edim Meto as well, because it was because of Edim Abi that I was actually invited into my Turkish Cypriot community. When he first came and saw us in the Great Hall Valley Pally, where we were running that absolute mammoth operation, you know, he introduced me to a community that I've never been part of. And I always say this, there is no I in we, but it takes an I to create a we. So don't ever lose your identity. But we, together, have absolutely smashed it. Everyone, even you guys at Eurogames, the awareness you have raised, for me as a Turkish Cypriot and for my organisation, has been second to none. So,
thank you very much. You're a very truly inspirational person, and thank you very much for all the hard work that you do. If anybody wants to find you, wants to, give some charity, because obviously you're always raising funds for all the projects that you're doing. Where can they find you on social media? Do you have a website, anything like that?
Yep, you can go on our website, which is www.ediblelondon.org. You can go to our Instagram, which is edible_London UK. And you know what? Just ask a friend. There's so many people in our network, you don't have to go far to find someone in Edible London. And remember, there's so many people out there. Just remember how little can do a lot. If everyone that listens to this, if every Turkish Cypriot was to transfer £1 to Edible London, we will really have a chance to eradicate food poverty. Because I'm not here to tackle food poverty. I'm here to eradicate it. Big love.
Oh, thank you very much, Sono. Thank you very much. It's an absolute honour. Right, okay, so we're slowly going to be moving around the artwork now and showing you the artwork. I'm glad that that's been pointed out to me by the team, because I was really thinking that actually as I was talking to the artist, when are we going to actually showcase this? So, Ali, are we ready to move? Okay, right, so I'm going to be moving around very slowly. And we're going to go into this corner first. Is that okay? Right, so this is the first piece of artwork. I'm going to read it to you. This is called Guilt and Regret by Melissa Sue Ermia, and it's meant to be by Melissa Sue Ermia. And we can see her picture here. And you can actually listen to the songs here. So this is one of the artworks. Here is Layers of Pain by Abideh Hami, Alone. This is anonymous. I don't know if we can see some of this artwork. It's absolutely wonderful. Right, I'm going to move slowly through. I mean, honestly, this room has been transformed into an art exhibition. I don't think it's like the Tate Gallery here at the moment. Our Angel is by Sibi Melin here. I'll slowly move over. Vain and Suffering by John Angelo. I mean, look at that drawing. Says a lot, doesn't it? This one is called Where Is Everyone by Mehmet Ali. Wow, that's very powerful. Very, very powerful. Absolutely powerful. Can we see that? I'm going to be walking through. There's so many. I'm going slowly, but I'm trying to do it at a good pace as well. Dear God, help me, please. Help me get better. Help me keep my kids. I need help. And there's a silhouette of a woman here. And this is, again, Mihnijan Mel Mustafa, art by Abby Elliott. So I'll just stand away so you can see that. And over here is Kaz's Wigs for Heroes. She's put, it's only hair, I will grow it back. Who am I? Are you okay? You still look good. It comes with cancer. I feel ugly, and it's actually written on a mirror. And this is Unkind Reflections by Kaz Fonset. Don't know if we can home in on all of that. She's got hair and a comb and all her medication. You know, people have truly put their stories on the walls today. I think that was a very good description. Here, Memories by Derya Rashid. Exquisite drawing. That is absolutely exquisite. Artwork entitled Rebirth. Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually you've been planted. Artwork 2 entitled Memories. She didn't like the memories because the tears came easily, and once again she broke the promise she made herself today. It's a constant battle, a war between remembering and forgetting. Derya Rashid. Thank you very much, Derya Rashid, for that. Rebirth by Derya Rashid as well. Right. Okay, that's some of the sample works. There's lots more, but that's just some of the work that we did. We're going to go around to the other side now. I mean, honestly, the atmosphere in here today has been truly, truly amazing. Honestly, I'm overwhelmed with emotion, to be honest with you. Yes, I think that's it from us for today. Please come to the TCCA. It's in Haringey if you want to actually personally see these wonderful pieces of art. These are people's personal stories, and honestly, I've been moved and honoured to be part of something like this. So the Rhythm of Breath. We've connected to Northern Cyprus. They are doing it simultaneously with us, Media Foundation. Thank you very much to them. Thank you very much to TCCA. Thank you very much to Eurogenç TV, for Gülay Emre, for Alp Emre, for allowing us to broadcast today. And that's it from us. Thank you very much, Ertanç Bey, for leading on the project. We wish you well. We hope you have a wonderful evening. That's it from us, from Eurogenç TV. I'm Ayşen Jamal. Good night.